Harvey had already hung up on the other end of the line. Alara got back into her car, pressed the accelerator, and sped out of the parking space. She didn't notice the black sports car trailing her like a shadow. The scenery on both sides of the road blurred into streaks as the car raced past. The silver Volvo streaked across the asphalt like lightning. Alara's dark eyes fixed firmly on the road ahead. It had been a long time since she had driven this fast. The rush of adrenaline surged in sync with the speedometer needle climbing to its peak. She overtook 3 flashy sports cars in quick succession, leaving their drivers shouting in surprise. "Whoa! Who the hell was that?" Someone in another car instructed while speaking through a Bluetooth earpiece. "Get me the details on that license plate." The modified sports cars were left far behind one at a time. Alara didn't ease off the accelerator even on the winding curves of the mountain road. The group of young thrill-seekers heard a voice report through their earpieces. "I found it. That car belongs to the Jones family." Another voice questioned. "The Jones family? Could it be Niev behind the wheel?" "Niev? Is she really that good? She must have been holding back whenever she raced with us." The silver Volvo wound its way up the mountain road, climbing higher with every curve. Only a sleek black Ferrari managed to stay on her tail. Theodore smirked as a stray lock of hair fell across his brow. He had seen Alara in her prime before. She had been a prodigy, entering the junior program at Hawk University at the age of 14. She won 3 consecutive gold medals in the International Mathematical Olympiad competition. Then, she passed the FASC exams at 19, earning her racing license and breaking into the top 10 of the World Rally Championship. Her life had been a journey of brilliance, accompanied by applause and accolades. However, she chose to drop out in the 3rd year of her doctoral program, dedicating herself entirely to family life as a full-time wife in a wealthy household. Since then, her car had been fitted with a child seat, and her speedometer had never exceeded 40 miles per hour. The tires screeched against the road, emitting a piercing sound. Smoke rose as the silver Volvo came to an abrupt stop. Theodore's Ferrari sped past her, leaving him to glimpse the stationary Volvo with Alara inside from his rearview mirror. Alara swiped her phone screen inside her car, and the voice of Bambi's homeroom teacher came through the car's audio system. "Mrs. Fisher, could you please come to the school as soon as possible? Bo brought wax bottle candies today and shared them with the other students. Several of them have stomachaches now." Alara was still recovering from the adrenaline of her high-speed drive, and she took a deep breath before saying, "Ms. Jenkins, I'm no longer Bo's guardian. If anything happens at school, please contact his father. There's no need to call me anymore." She brushed a strand of hair from her face, tucking it behind her ear. Her voice was resolute and unwavering as she added, "He's no longer my responsibility." "What?" Bridget Jenkins was shocked, but the incident at the kindergarten required Alara to address it immediately. "Bo said the wax bottle candies he brought were from you. Several children choked on the beeswax, and the consequences could have been disastrous if we hadn't acted quickly. Now some of the children's mothers are here. Mrs. Fisher, you need to come to the kindergarten and give them an explanation." Bo and Bambi attended an elite bilingual kindergarten, where every child came from a wealthy or influential family. While Bridget was speaking, Alara could hear the angry voices of other women on the other end of the line. "Did you reach Mrs. Fisher? How could she let her son bring something like this to school? My child is so young he didn't know he had to spit out the beeswax. His throat is scratched and bleeding now," Alara calmly asked. "May I speak with my daughter, Bambi?" "Of course. Please hold on." "Mommy." Bambi's soft, childlike voice came through the phone. Alara asked her, "Bambi, did you eat any of the wax bottle candies? Bo called me a fat piggy, and he gave the candies to all the other kids but me." Alara exhaled slightly in relief. "Do you know who gave Bo the wax bottle candies?" "It was Aunt Niev." Alara had already suspected it was her. Harvey always defended Niev, and Bo had learned to follow his lead. Before Bambi could finish speaking, Bo's angry shouting came through the phone. "The wax bottle candies were from Mommy, not from Niev." "Bo, you're lying." "Shut up." "Ah." Alara couldn't tell what was happening on the other end of the call, but Bo's cries of pain soon reached her ears. Bridget's voice followed as she yelled out, "Bambi, Stop hitting Bo. Hearing that it wasn't her daughter who was bullied, Alara hung up the call and immediately dialed Mary's number. Mary, I just got a call from Bo's homeroom teacher. She said the wax bottle candies Bo brought were very popular with the other kids. The teacher hopes you can bring some more to the school right now. What? Wax bottle candies? Mary sounded completely confused, but Alara ended the call after giving her instructions without waiting for a response. Mary recalled overhearing from the driver, Oliver Ortega, that they had run into Niev on the way to drop Bo off at school earlier. Acting on this, she went to confirm with Oliver and learned that the wax bottle candies were indeed from Niev. Mary promptly called Niev. Ms. Niev, where did you buy those wax bottle candies? Bo's classmates really liked them, and his teacher asked me to bring more to the school. Niev's heart lit up with excitement. She thought this was a good opportunity to present herself as Bo's new mom in front of others. I'll handle this. Let me buy some more and deliver them to the kindergarten myself. There's no need to trouble yourself with this. Mary readily agreed. All right, thank you so much. Alara rested one hand on the steering wheel, and her index finger tapped it lightly. At that moment, someone knocked on the car window. She rolled it down, and a well-sculpted hand with long fingers held out a business card to her. The sleek black card that was embossed in gold read, Theodore Snap, partner at Polaris Law Firm. If you need divorce advice, feel free to call me, he said. Alara accepted the card. Mr. Snap, you're a top-tier lawyer in the city. Your fees are far too high for me. Theodore tucked one hand into his trouser pocket. His suit was sharp, but he wore no tie, and his open collar exposed a glimpse of his sculpted neckline. I can waive the fee. Alara smiled faintly. I don't have anything else to offer you either. 5 years ago, you quit your PhD program halfway through and told my father you were leaving to have a kid. The old man's health has been getting worse lately. If you can find the time to visit him, I'll handle your case for free, he said. Theodore's father, Tobias Snap, had once been the dean of the Faculty of Mathematics and Science at Capital University, and Alara's PhD advisor. When she first enrolled at Hawk University, Tobias often hovered around her, encouraging her to grow quickly so she could apply for his doctoral program. Later, Tobias treated her like a workhorse when she began her doctoral program at Capital University, constantly pushing her to accelerate her progress. He frequently warned her that international sanctions on universities could happen at any time, making their research endeavors even more challenging. Alara then juggled her commitments between Capital University and the Fisher family. As Mrs. Fisher, she was enrolled in cooking, flower arranging, and art appreciation classes to mold her into a perfect socialite wife. Balancing her career and academics became an impossible task. The year she became pregnant, a serious complication led her to request withdrawal from the program. I can't face him, she admitted. The memory of it all was still raw. She couldn't forget the look in Tobias's eyes. There had been no anger or reproach, just a quiet disappointment. He had turned away without a word back then, unwilling to speak to her further. Theodore leaned one hand against the car door as he lowered his gaze to look at Alara, who was confined in the narrow interior of her car. When you're young, loving someone is never a mistake. When you're older, letting go isn't wrong either. There's still someone waiting for you. Someone who will be there if you have the courage to start over. Meanwhile, Niev stepped off her modified motorcycle while carrying a paper bag. The security guard stared wide-eyed at the woman in skin-tight yoga pants. Niev casually tossed her loose hair over her shoulder. She then greeted the guard with a carefree smile and entered the kindergarten. She already knew which class Bo was in, and she walked over with a grin upon spotting Bridget. Hi there, I brought more wax bottle candies for Bo. I heard the ones he brought were a big hit with the other kids. Bridget eyed Niev critically. So you're the one who allowed Bo to bring those candies to school? Niev's face lit up with excitement. Yes. These wax bottle candies were made by a friend of mine using premium beeswax. So, it was you who nearly caused my son to choke to death. The furious shout exploded behind Niev. A resounding slap landed squarely across her face as she turned, leaving her seeing stars. Why the hell are you hitting me? Niev yelled. It's because you're a wicked scoundrel. Niev wasn't one to be pushed around. Tasting the metallic tang of blood on her lip, she charged forward to grapple with several of the angry parents. Alara arrived to pick up Bambi once school was over. She animatedly described the scene of Niev getting beaten. Apparently, Bo had tried to help Niev when she was attacked, but Bambi grabbed him by the collar with one hand and dragged him away. Bruised and battered, Niev took Bo to the teacher and applied for early dismissal. The other children's mothers, all of whom recognized Niev, berated her loudly. Their words were so harsh that Bambi couldn't even understand them, only sensing their venom. Sitting in her car seat, Bambi gazed out at the familiar scenery passing by the roadside. "Mommy, are we going home?" The brightness in Bambi's eyes dimmed instantly. Alara told her gently, "This will be the last time we go back to the Fisher residence." "Mrs. Fisher, Ms. Bambi, you're back." Mary sighed in relief upon seeing Alara. Alara had been away from the Fisher residence for just a day and a night, but the household staff were already struggling to cope. Alara said, "I'm only here with Bambi to pack up some things." Mary didn't think much of it and simply reminded her, "Ms. Niev is here." As she held Bambi's hand, Alara walked into the living room, only to hear Niev yelling, "Those fat cows! I just didn't want to stoop to their level. If I really fought them, I'd crush their guts and blow up their insides." "Ow. Harvey, be gentler." Niev was sprawled on the couch while Harvey sat beside her, dabbing medicine on her wounds with a cotton swab. Bo asked anxiously on the side, "Niev, does it hurt?" "My skin is thick, so it doesn't hurt," Niev boasted, only to wince. "Ow. Harvey, stop being so rough." She grimaced and playfully lifted her leg as if to kick Harvey's thigh. "Sit still," Harvey commanded in a low, firm voice. Seeing the bruises on Niev's face, Bo felt more guilty. "It's my fault Niev got hurt." He puffed out his cheeks and lowered his head. He then glanced up cautiously at Harvey's face. Bo remembered when Alara had accidentally scalded or cut herself while slicing fruit before. She was bleeding profusely, but Harvey had never shown any concern, let alone bandaged her wounds himself. But when Niev got hurt, Harvey rolled up his sleeves and personally tended to her injuries with utmost care. Niev was clearly the most important person to Harvey. Then Bo turned his head and noticed Alara and Bambi entering the room. He immediately scowled and turned his face away, refusing to acknowledge them. Niev propped herself up with her hands, leaning forward to close the distance between herself and Harvey. "Alara, you've finally decided to come back," she said in a tone dripping with mockery. Harvey didn't even glance at Alara. Instead, he gave her an order. "Niev's clothes are dirty. Go to the wardrobe and bring her some new ones." It seemed there was only Niev in his eyes and heart. Alara ignored Harvey's words, and she held Bambi's hand as they walked upstairs. She thought of the vows he had made at their wedding when he promised to take care of her for a lifetime. At one point, she had truly believed he loved her. They had begun sleeping in separate rooms after Bo and Bambi were born. Ethel had instructed her to focus on the children. She was told to eat and sleep with them and avoid disrupting Harvey, who was always busy managing the household and his business. One day, when she was bringing Harvey a plate of coconut pudding, she overheard him on a call saying, "We've been sleeping in separate rooms for ages. How would I know if she snores?" Alara heard Niev's hearty laughter coming through Harvey's earpiece. She quietly set down the coconut pudding and left the room. "She's too clingy. Don't you find her annoying sometimes?" That was another thing she overheard. Alara focused all her energy on her children from that day on. Once Alara's figure disappeared upstairs, Niev finally spoke. "Alara doesn't seem too happy. Do you think she's still mad at me?" Harvey continued applying medicine to Niev's injuries. "Don't worry about her." He had anticipated that Alara wouldn't last more than 2 days after running off to her parents' house with Bambi. As soon as Niev left, Alara would inevitably return, humbling herself to win his favor again. Bo, who was sitting nearby with a sour expression, muttered, "It's all Bambi's fault. If she hadn't held me back, I could have protected Niev." Niev reached out and pulled Bo into her arms. "You may not be an adult yet, but you're just as strong and amazing as your dad in my eyes." Being compared to Harvey made Bo's lips curl into a shy smile, and his eyes brimmed with joy. He then gazed at Harvey with pure admiration. Moments later, Alara and Bambi came downstairs. Alara was carrying a 28-inch suitcase while Bambi helped lift the back wheels. Although Bambi was naturally strong, Alara ensured that she never carried anything heavier than what was safe for her growing body. Bambi's small shoulders also bore a backpack, and she clutched a teddy bear in one hand. Niev exclaimed in surprise, "Alara, where are you going with such a big suitcase?" Harvey's gaze landed on the suitcase in Alara's hand. His deep eyes were already frosted over. "What's this nonsense now?" Alara was panting slightly as she placed the suitcase on the floor. After struggling to remove her wedding ring, she set it on the coffee table in front of Harvey. Her eyes then caught a glimpse of his long, slender fingers. Harvey had never worn his wedding ring in their 7 years of marriage. Meanwhile, Alara's years of wearing hers had left a permanent mark around her finger. It was now an indented scar that wouldn't fade. Harvey's sharp brows arched slightly, and his breath was cold enough to freeze the air. "Alara Jones, that's enough." Running back to her parents' house, and now removing her wedding ring, her childish antics were exhausting to him. Alara's gaze shifted to the watch on Harvey's wrist, then to the matching one on Niev's wrist. She let out a scoff. "Oh, you two are already wearing couple watches now." Harvey's eyes followed hers to Niev's wrist, where a woman's version of his watch rested. "Alara, the watches may be a matching set, but they mean something entirely different for us. These are more like sibling watches." Niev protested indignantly. "We grew up together. What's the big deal about matching watches?" "Oh right." Niev suddenly remembered something. She pulled a square box out of her gym bag. "Harvey knew you were upset, so he asked me to pick out a gift for you. Alara, just take this gift, and let's move past the drama from the birthday party." She then opened the velvet box, revealing a roughly crafted 4-leaf clover necklace. Tilting her head with an innocent expression, Niev made sure Alara could see the identical necklace around her neck. Only hers was a premium, exquisitely crafted version. Alara's mind went blank. It was as if a tidal wave had crashed over her, tearing at her body and fueling a storm of anger and humiliation. Her expression remained calm as she reached out and picked up the necklace, while Niev's eyes lit up with a mocking gleam. Harvey leaned against the sofa and looked away. He was convinced that Alara was like a dog, neglected one moment but wagging her tail the next the moment he beckoned her. Alara hooked a finger under the necklace around Niev's neck, pulling it forward. She then held the two necklaces side by side. "Niev, the mother of pearl on your necklace is of much better quality. How about we trade?" She didn't call out the fake necklace directly as Niev would have no shortage of excuses to dodge responsibility. Alara wanted Niev to silently swallow the loss. The delicate chain tightened against the back of Niev's neck, and she froze awkwardly. Her earlier anticipation of Alara foolishly wearing the fake necklace out in public and becoming a laughingstock instantly shattered. Alara had managed to spot the difference in quality at a glance. Feeling somewhat uneasy, Niev glanced nervously at Harvey. The so-called peace offering had been entirely her idea, something she had presumptuously given on Harvey's behalf. She couldn't let Harvey think she had intentionally bought a fake necklace for Alara. "Alara, I'll give you whatever you want," Niev said with forced generosity, and she hurriedly removed the necklace from her neck. But when she extended the genuine necklace toward Alara, Alara didn't take it. Instead, Alara calmly fastened the fake necklace back around Niev's neck. "This one suits you better." Niev's face flushed crimson with anger. Did Alara say the fake necklace suited her better? The fake necklace was only $30, while her genuine one was worth over $10,000. Alara took the real necklace from Niev's hand and tossed it into the trash can. "Alara, if you're mad at me, just take it out on me. Why'd you throw away the necklace?" Niev exclaimed. Alara cut off Niev's rising voice. "If you value that necklace so much, you can pick it up and wear it again yourself." "Alara, are you really not interested in making up with Harvey?" Niev's voice turned desperate as she fiddled with the fake necklace on her neck. Just wearing it for a few moments made her feel like breaking out in hives. "I'm not here to make up. Harvey, I don't want to stay married to you anymore." Alara pulled out a document and placed it in front of Harvey. She then said, "This is the divorce agreement. Please sign it." A chilling frost spread across Harvey's handsome face. His cold laugh brimmed with contempt as he replied, "If you keep this up, I might actually take you seriously. Read the divorce agreement. I hope you'll sign it soon." Had she been angry, it might have meant she still cared. But now, she felt nothing as she sat across from Harvey's strikingly handsome face. 7 years of marriage had left her utterly disillusioned. The only way she could begin anew was by severing all ties with the Fisher family. Harvey flipped open the divorce agreement and saw that Alara was requesting half of the marital assets. He laughed, dismissing her as delusional. But a second later, his expression stiffened. "How do you know so much about my liquid assets and fixed properties? You don't need to know how I found out about your holdings. I've been a full-time wife for 7 years, and now it's time to settle the accounts. I want half of your cash, cars, properties, land, and equity. And you'll pay $200,000 a month in child support until our daughter turns 18. The man's lips curled into a smile. His normally cold, stoic face seemed to show a flicker of life. "All this, because I'm wearing a matching watch with Niev." Alara drew in a deep breath. 3 months ago, I used the money I earned from investments to buy you a watch for your birthday. You've never worn it. Niev interrupted, blurting out, "Alara, your taste is too tacky. If Harvey wore that watch out, people would laugh at him." To her, it seemed clear Alara was throwing a tantrum over nothing. Harvey's voice grew colder as he held up the divorce agreement. "You think using this as a weapon against me is amusing? Alara, are you divorcing Harvey because of me?" Niev asked with an air of feigned innocence. Alara smiled faintly. "Why don't you say that a little louder so everyone in the Fisher residence can hear?" Niev's face twisted awkwardly, and her voice noticeably softened. "Why are you being so aggressive? You didn't used to be like this." Seeing Niev on the defensive, Bo leaped off the sofa like a little warrior, placing himself protectively in front of her. "Mommy, can't you be reasonable?" With his arms crossed over his chest, Bo scowled and continued. "Daddy works so hard, and he still has to deal with your attitude when he comes home. You're not even a Fisher. What right do you have to take Daddy's money?" His words struck her like a blow to the chest. Alara looked at him and calmly replied, "Because I gave birth to his children and took care of this household." Even so, Bo refused to accept her explanation. "You're always at home doing nothing. If you're divorcing Daddy, then get out. I'm not leaving this house with you." Bo snorted as he lifted his chin high. There was a knowing glint in his eyes. He was smart enough to understand where Alara's weakness lay. He knew that Alara couldn't possibly leave him behind. Bo also knew she feared his tantrums most. She would immediately stop whatever she was doing to console him any time he got upset. "Bo Fisher." Alara called him by his full name. "I never planned to take you with me. You were raised as the Fisher family heir from the moment you were born, but I'm done revolving my life around you." Turning to Harvey, she spoke firmly. "The divorce agreement is clear. I'm only asking for custody of Bambi. I'm not taking Bo." Bo crossed his arms and pouted, his lips jutting out in defiance. He didn't believe a word of his mom's nonsense. He wouldn't want to go with her even if she wanted to take him. She was just saying she'd only take Bambi to save face. After all, Bambi was nothing but a mama's girl with no opinions of her own. Harvey turned to Alara. "Do you really think you can manage that much cash, Alara? What I do with my assets after the divorce is none of your concern." Harvey chuckled at her response. "Alara, you don't have the ability to handle that kind of money. You'll just come crawling back to me, crying for help. Just sign the papers." Alara was too tired to keep sparring with him. "Can we part on good terms, please?" "Alara, how can you be so greedy? What will people think of the Jones family if you take half of Harvey's assets?" Niev interjected on Harvey's behalf. Alara laughed faintly, and her tone was laced with mockery. "If money means so little to you, then don't come sniffing around my wallet in the future." "Of course I won't." Niev denied it immediately, though a strange feeling crept over her. It felt as if she'd fallen into a trap. Yet she quickly dismissed the thought. Alara couldn't possibly be that clever. Harvey lowered his voice, softening his tone as if offering a compromise. "If you're tired, just take a break. Use my supplementary card and shop your heart out in Europe. Then come back." He believed he was being generous. The lifeline he extended should have been enough for Alara to accept and back down. Alara's lashes fell as she looked down wearily. Harvey, I don't love you anymore. Her life had revolved around managing Harvey's household for 7 whole years, and she oversaw the entire Fisher residence's affairs. At the end of each year, her household expense records had to pass her mother-in-law's scrutiny. Random checks on the family accounts were a regular occurrence. If she so much as applied for a visa, Ethel would likely call the next day, reminding her to stay home and look after the children, let alone use a card to shop to her heart's content in Arup. Alara had been trapped in the Fisher family's quagmire for years, and she was suffocating. She had desperately hoped Harvey would reach out and pull her up. But when she hit rock bottom, all she found beneath her feet were the blades of her son's words, cutting into her. Alara could no longer wait around for someone to save her. The only one who could redeem her was herself. Harvey let out a sardonic laugh. Ironically, this was the day he had smiled at Alara more than he ever had throughout their marriage. Fine. I'll sign the papers as you wish. I'd love to see how you manage without me.